All right.
Recording us now, yeah.
Recording everything.
Oh, right, great.
You've been following him around now, haven't you, mate?
Following him.
And doing this on here now.
Could be classed as harassment, could it?
No, he can't. Does he work for the police?
He works for the PCC, so he's working on behalf of the police, yeah. So he's allowed to park where he needs to park. In fact, he's in actually designated police space.
Yeah.
Doing his job.
Oh, is that not a police officer for part there?
He's working on behalf of the police. Just said that.
Right. So what? He can't be harassed on duty.
Put it up.
No.
So people can't harass anybody who's doing a job, can they?
Not if I'm taking videos and pictures, no.
But why are you taking pictures and videos of it?
Right,
I'm not, I'm doing pictures and videos of the cars.
You're clearly doing it to try and prevent him and intimidate whatever he's doing, aren't you?
Intimidate?
But you're doing it on Walney.
I don't intimidate people with a camera.
You're coming down and standing in front of his camera like this.
I'm filming the traffic.
Right, no, you're not filming.
I am filming the traffic. I am filming. You can. I've got it on the.
For obstructing somebody on behalf.
I'd love to see that.
The
that would be an unlawful arrest.
They open with a strong accusation claiming Matt is following the speed camera van and harassing the operator even though there is no interaction taking place beyond a camera aimed at a public operation. Matt shuts that down immediately by pointing out the obvious facts of the situation and making it clear that nothing improper is actually happening. The man inside the van is not a police officer and does not have special protection from being filmed while carrying out work in a public setting. Harassment does not exist simply because someone feels uncomfortable while on duty, and it cannot be created out of personal discomfort alone. Filming does not turn into intimidation just because an officer labels it that way, and the wording does not change the reality of the action. That is where the tone shifts and the threat begins to appear as an officer starts suggesting arrest for obstruction. This is not because Matt is blocking anyone interfering with activity or engaging in disruptive behavior, but because his filming is seen as inconvenient. Obstruction in this context is being used more as a pressure tactic than a properly grounded legal charge, and that is why it is never clearly explained or correctly applied within the situation.
An unlawful arrest that I would make sure there's a private prosecution against you for that.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll go to jail.
Well, I guess I'll go to jail as well.
Listen, you're doing it on...
I'm not doing it to... How can I intimidate him with a camera?
Preventing to do his job.
It's not preventing or intimidating. You said intimidating.
You try to prevent him.
I'm not intimidating him.
It's normal duty to do his job.
Why are you shaking?
That's what you're trying to do. Why more?
Why are you shaking?
I'm not shaking, I'm just doing this.
You're shaking.
Yeah, I'm not shaking, am I? Right, listen, mate. Did you get your details taken before?
No. I'm not intimidating you. You are accusing him of
intend to intimidate anybody or not.
So you can get arrested for accidentally intimidating someone.
You're going to listen to what I'm saying?
Go on, yeah.
Because you're taping me, so you get it on camera, then you'll have it for future reference. If you're trying to tape in front of him while he's trying to do his job, he can find that intimidating, regardless of whether you find that you're intimidating or not. It doesn't matter what your intentions are.
I'm after nice cars, etc.
When Matt raises private prosecution, that is the moment the mask slips and the tone shifts away from confidence into something far less certain. Instead of a clear and measured response, there is a flippant remark about going to jail which does not show bravery but reflects a disregard for accountability and the consequences of actions. It is said openly because there is an expectation that nothing serious will follow and that the situation will not lead to real scrutiny. From that point, the justification begins to lose stability and starts to shift in form. At first, the claim is that he is intimidating the operator, and then it quietly changes to suggesting he is preventing the operator from doing his job, as if altering the wording might create a stronger position. What is never explained is how a camera alone could prevent any task from being carried out because there's no blocking, no engagement, no interference, and no ignored instruction. He is simply filming from a public space which remains a lawful activity. The allegation exists only in the language being used and not in the actual facts of the situation. That is why it continues to change, because without a real offense underneath, the explanation has to keep moving in order to hold together even briefly.
You went over Walney when he was over Walney doing his job.
I was looking
for nice cars over there, and now you stand right in front of his vehicle when he's trying to do his job again. Just to look for nice cars in the same place. Right. Very bizarre, my friend, very bizarre.
For a first start, get your facts right. I wasn't looking for nice cars down there. I was doing photography of the mountains, etc.
Right by his van.
Down there. He parks right in front of them.
Right by his van.
He parks right in front of them.
Bizarre.
Don't be ridiculous.
Absolutely bizarre.
Well, bizarre is not a crime.
No, you're right, it's not.
Bizarre is not a crime.
But preventing somebody from doing their job...
I'm not preventing him.
Intimidating them is a crime.
I'm not preventing him. He can move on to the next spot and make no mistake. I know he can, I'm just saying, well, I can stay here and work. You can't be intimidated by someone taking a picture.
What we are saying to you is, this gentleman who's trying to do his job feels intimidated because you've been over there doing whatever you're doing with your camera, taking pictures by him.
Yeah.
And then you come here when he's trying to do his job as well. It's like you're following him.
You've
got to appreciate how he perceives that.
Right, I understand that, but that's like a two-thing coincidence. It's like just a coincidence. I'm telling you now, it's a coincidence, yeah. You cannot be intimidated by some...
I do believe in coincidences, don't get me wrong.
Well, there you go.
I completely agree in coincidences, but this is...
So you can't arrest me on suspicion of a coincidence. It's ridiculous.
What gives this exchange away is how desperate the character building becomes as the narrative keeps shifting without any real link to what is actually happening. One moment Matt is described as looking for nice cars, and the next he is being framed as a stalker even though neither claim is supported by his actions. Matt stepping in to say he is photographing the mountains is not a defense but a simple return to reality that highlights the gap between fact and assumption. At that stage, the officer is no longer observing conduct but is instead assigning motives that are not grounded in evidence. Calling the situation bizarre becomes the final fallback when nothing else holds together, and it shows the lack of a solid position. Matt's response works because it brings attention back to a key point that personal opinion does not create authority or jurisdiction. The real issue is the repeated attempt to jump to conclusions without any clear link to justify them. Words like preventing and intimidating are repeated again and again, but there is no actual behavior that connects a camera to either outcome. Coincidence is being presented as intent, and the logic becomes that the same road and the same van must mean suspicion, which does not stand up when examined closely.
Plenty of pictures of just normal vehicles going down here.
You'd be best off parked outside the police station.
You just said you come out. Hang on, I'm just speaking to someone. I'm not. You just said
we don't mind you doing that outside.
All right, you said that it's be intimidation.
No, I said we ain't going to get intimidated by it.
Right, I'm with you. Right.
You've tipped it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And if I didn't say that, that's what I meant.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Stand on the side of the bloody police station and go, I'm just taping police vehicles coming out of here with the blue lights and sirens on. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
Myself. We're not bothered by that. But this gentleman here is not working for the police in the sense that we are. He doesn't wear the equipment that we wear. So say you were to be a Nancy person who was to get upset with us, move to approach you and maybe get into a scuffle with you, something like, because that happens, doesn't it, for cops?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. A gentleman like this guy here who's just doing his job with no protection.
You've had a word with me. You know what I'm doing. You know that I'm no threat. I will empty my pockets for you. I'll empty my pockets. I've got nothing on me other than a camera. There's no reason for him to feel intimidated. It's ridiculous.
What they fall back on is the weakest justification of all, which is the idea that the operator feels uneasy, and that alone becomes the focus once every other angle has failed. That is not a policing issue, and it is simply part of the reality of working in a public-facing role, which makes it more telling that it is used only after stronger claims fall apart. The operator is not being approached, blocked, spoken to, or interfered with in any way and remains inside a van carrying out duties while being filmed from a distance in a public space. Matt explaining who he is and why he is there does not resolve anything because the issue was never about his conduct in the first place. It was about a decision to treat someone else's discomfort as if it created risk where none had been shown. His frustration becomes visible as the situation drags on, and he even offers to empty his pockets to show he is no threat, which should never be necessary in a lawful interaction. When a person feels the need to prove innocence just to bring an unsupported situation to an end, it shows that the process has already broken down and moved away from proper standards of fairness and reasoning.
Opens his window, when he opens it, you put your camera right in front, preventing him going about his lawful duty.
I've spoke to the last person.
So I need full details, please, because I'm going to report you for offence of reporting of obstructing officer in the unlawful execution of his duty. Okay.
I'm not
to do that.
I'm not.
Report you for summons. So I need to get your details.
I have not put it up to his window.
He says different, so I've got to go on.
Right, well, I haven't done it.
I need full details, please.
No.
Right.
If you want to unlawfully detain me, unlawfully arrest me, I have not done it.
So I explain to you, I need to report you for an offence for summons, okay? To do that, I need your name and address.
Yeah.
Right, if you don't do that, if I'm going to have to arrest you, take to the police station, and I'll get your details from there.
Right, well, that'll be an unlawful arrest, because I'm not doing anything. I've not filmed here, I've not gone up to his thing or anything. I'm stood here, I'm taking pictures.
Listen,
if he said I've gone up to him...
Yeah, that's what I said. You've been going, when he's up in the hatch,
yeah.
You're going up there with your camera in front
No,
of
I'm
the
not
hatch.
going up in front of the hatch. I'm stood here, I've not gone past here, and it's on here.
This is where the threat moves from something uncertain into a clear misuse of power in how it is being framed. The officer then claims he needs Matt details for obstructing an officer on duty, even though the person being referred to is not an officer at all but a civilian operator, which is a critical distinction that cannot be ignored. Obstruction powers are tied to interference with actual police functions and do not extend to anyone in high-visibility clothing near enforcement equipment simply by association. It also does not make sense to describe filming a third party as obstruction of an officer who is not even involved in that interaction. Treating it as interchangeable either reflects a misunderstanding of the limits of the power or a deliberate stretching of what it covers. The situation escalates further when Matt does not provide his details, and the officer then states he will be arrested, taken to the station, and identified there, which shifts the tone into pressure rather than lawful procedure. Arrest is not meant to be used as a method of collecting personal information in the absence of a clearly established offense, and presenting it that way turns it into coercion rather than justified enforcement.
Doing. I'm going on what he's saying, that he can't do his job because what you're doing, okay?
Right.
And I'm going to report you for summons, but I need to get your details to do that. If you refuse to give me your details, then I will have to arrest you. That's how I
Arrest me for what?
For
To ascertain your details.
No,
You can't arrest someone to ascertain the details.
I'm arresting you for obstructing somebody, an officer or someone who working about the police, or going about their lawful duty. So you're obstructing them. That's
I'm
what
not.
we're arresting you for.
I have not done that.
We're
Just
backwards and
because
forwards with this, aren't we?
He's-
I'm explaining to you, that's what I'm going to do.
he's obviously
So I need your
angry
full
because I'm
details.
taking pictures of the cars, etc., going past. That is all I am doing. And just because he's accused me of that, you cannot arrest me without reasonable suspicion.
Listen. I'll explain to you. I spoke to him. I want to report you for obstructing somebody, this officer going about his lawful execution.
He's not an officer.
Listen, he's working.
Is he an officer?
Is
he an
He's
officer?
an employee of the police going about his lawful
Right,
duty.
okay, but is he an officer? Can you answer that?
Well,
Is he an officer?
he's an employee of the police.
Is he an officer?
Listen, not
I'm
police
asking you a
officer,
question.
This is where the bias becomes clear in how the situation is being framed and handled. The officer openly relies on the operator account while setting aside Matt's version of events simply because the operator is associated with the police. That is not a proper assessment of facts, and it turns employment status into a stand-in for credibility, which is not the same as evidence. When the threat of arrest follows, the reasoning begins to fall apart in real time. When asked what the arrest is for, the response given is to ascertain your details, which is not an offense but an administrative objective. Once that weakness is exposed, the justification shifts again toward obstructing an officer on duty, only for Matt to highlight the key issue, that the operator is not actually an officer. The explanation keeps changing because there is no consistent underlying basis to support it. What this shows is not a clear and lawful escalation, but a process of adjusting reasons after the fact once the decision to arrest has already been made, rather than building it on a stable legal foundation from the start.
Right, so why did you call him an officer? Why did you call him one?
Right, mate. Are you going to give me your details?
I'm not, because you keep talking. This is an unlawful arrest. So, just got out the police station. They've fingerprinted me. Took all my details. They were reasonable with us. Can't say they were giving me any hassle, abuse. They just processed us fairly and squarely. Still think I was unlawfully arrested. I'm going to look into that.
The arrest is presented as the turning point that reveals what the situation was really about. By that stage, the earlier justifications have already been tested and challenged, and they no longer provide a stable basis for what follows. The result is that physical control becomes the final step when verbal explanations are no longer holding the interaction together. From that point, the decision to take Matt into custody is framed as a way to secure compliance rather than a response grounded in a clearly defined and properly explained offense. The processing that follows does not strengthen the reasoning behind the arrest, but instead formalizes a decision that appears to have already been made before the legal basis was clearly established. The attempt to describe the situation as obstructing police staff while on duty further complicates the justification, especially when it is applied to a civilian role that is not the same as a sworn officer carrying out police powers. Obstruction cannot simply be extended to cover anyone connected to policing, and it still requires a clear act of interference rather than discomfort or observation from a distance. Filming in a public space does not in itself prevent any lawful activity, and discomfort alone does not create obstruction, The broader concern being raised is that the reasoning shifts after the fact in order to support an outcome that has already occurred rather than building that outcome on a clear and consistent legal foundation from the beginning. When explanations change as they are questioned, it raises doubts about whether the decision was based on established grounds or adjusted to fit the result after it had already been reached.